Hello and good morning. How's everybody doing today? This is Rich Harshaw with Monopolize Your Marketplace. Thank you for attending today's webinar. We will be getting started. We'll go ahead and start right now. The topic today, as you can see on your screen, is Fish Where the Fish Are, Winning the Battle of the Now Buyers by Dominating on the Internet. And I want to underscore the word dominating because that's really what we're here to talk about. How to get your website, first of all, so that it's seen, and second of all, so that when it is seen, it actually makes something productive happen. So we're going to go through a bunch of different strategies here, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about how to make your website itself more effective, but we're also going to spend some time on some typical topics like SEO and pay-per-click. Now, here's what you need to know about that. This is one of those topics that lots of people talk about. It's not like it's any secret that internet marketing is important, but what is interesting is that the thing that makes the most difference is typically not being addressed by most quote-unquote internet marketing companies. They focus a lot of time on making a site look nice. They focus a lot of time on search engine optimization, which is good. Obviously, nothing wrong with either of those things. But the fact is, they don't know how to make websites convert so that when somebody lands on the site, they actually take an action and not just land on the page, but actually land as a customer. So we're going to spend a lot of time in that regard. And so let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do is welcome our sponsors. Now, we've got 5 sponsors for today's events: All Weather Coatings, Bath Wraps by Liners Direct, Market Sharp, Window Depot USA, and Qualified Remodeler. We will hear from some of these sponsors as we go throughout the webinar today, so you'll comes to you as a service of these sponsors. If we didn't have these sponsors, we would not be here for the webinar. So thank you to them, and like I said, we will be hearing from some of them, a couple of them very shortly, and then some others about halfway through the webinar. Well, look at that. Let's go through the first one. The first one is Window Depot USA. And I don't know how much you know about Window Depot USA, but let me give you an idea. And I've actually got something I'm going to read you from Ed Kalaher, who's the CEO of the company. And here's what you need to understand about Window Depot USA. It's a little bit different. Think about this. Are you satisfied with your current window vendor, assuming that you sell windows? As you ponder your answer to that, think about the variables that go into a great vendor-dealer relationship. You're probably reasonably satisfied with the product quality and the pricing. After all, would you continue to buy expensive windows that you didn't think were any good? But think about the other stuff, the little things. Can you get a live person on the phone when you call? If so, does that person actually help? Do they ship products when they say they'll ship them? Do they offer marketing support? What about real marketing support, the kind where they actually create and customize marketing for you and perform things like SEO and pay-per-click management for you? Do you feel like your current vendor is actually invested in your success, or do you feel like you're just another dealer who is wasting their time when you try to reach out for something? Window Depot USA is a network that offers real support to their dealers that is unbelievable. They have quality windows at fair prices, and you'd probably expect that, and that's good, but they're also a lot more flexible, a lot more workable, a lot more profitable. They offer their dealers better than fair prices. As a Window Depot USA dealer, you're automatically getting the best prices by being one of 90-plus dealers in their buying consortium. They got top quality windows that are lower prices, but they have insane marketing support, and we're on today's call talking about marketing. That's probably something you're interested in. Not here's a brochure with your name Xeroxed on it, marketing support, but you must be kidding me. You'll really do all of this for me marketing support. When you become a dealer, they have a 5-person marketing team that you inherit as your own marketing team that will do anything and everything that you would normally pay a senior level marketing person a lot of money to do for you. They'll help you create print ads, done. They'll help you put together a flyer for a particular event, that's fine, they'll do it. SEO, pay-per-click, all of these things that you normally are paying a lot of money to somebody else, they do it for you. So if you want to know more about this, what you need to do is go to their website, windowdepotusa.com, and there's a video there that if you sign up, they'll send you a 5-minute video. It'll tell you all about it, so please do that. That's windowdepotusa.com. Then we've also got All Weather Coatings, and I actually have Rob Garrett, the owner of All Weather Coatings, with us, and I'm going to see if I can get him on the call right now. Rob, are you there?
I am. Thank you.
Hey, Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about All Weather Coatings, and then we'll get started on the webinar.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And right in line with what you were just saying, we do a lot of those same things too. We've partnered up with Rich, and we're encouraging our dealers to deal with him. We also, with Market Sharp, we provide that as a service too. Me and Tim have partnered together, so our dealers are getting a Market Sharp subscription through us, so we provide that as part of our service. We have a graphics department, so we provide getting the guys all set up and doing their marketing. One thing we do understand is, that we got to generate leads. So we work really, really hard with that. We send canvassers to their area. We do on-site sales training. We do webinars every week as a sales training. So we're very, very much committed to that. And then as far as the product, we're a coating product manufacturing company. We offer a 2-layer system, a 3-layer system, and a 4-layer system. So your sales guys can have a drop mechanism. We're the only ones that do that, and we also offer a water repellent. So we can pretty much cover anything that people would need for the exterior of their home, and it's a good ticket item, high turnaround. It's about 50 to 60% gross profit on a project that you can get in and out without a permit within usually a 5 to 7 day turnaround period. So we appreciate everything we're doing with Rich, and we encourage you guys to call Rich too. And like I said, we're partnering with him to work with our dealers. So thanks, Rich.
Okay, thank you, Rob, and encourage everybody to go take a look at All Weather Coatings website. You can just Google All Weather Coatings. I think it's allweathercoatings.com. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the webinar portion. Oh, one more. We've also got Qualified Remodeler. They're actually not with us on the call today, but they are one of our sponsors, Qualified Remodeler Magazine. I think everybody's pretty familiar with who they are. If you're not participating in their top 500 list, I'd recommend that you do that. It's a great credibility builder. I was just looking at the list today, and the fact is I know that there's companies that could and should be on there but just aren't. Maybe they haven't applied or whatnot. So you may want to look into that Qualified Remodeler Magazine. You'll find them. So let's look at some problems with internet marketing. And here's the biggest problem that I see. People just aren't that bright. Which of the following is the largest? I think that the moon is probably bigger than an elephant, but she's not quite getting that. What is the dumbest assumption people make about internet marketing? Well, it's all I need is more site visitors and my problems will be solved. And I'm here to tell you that getting more visitors to your website obviously is a good thing, but if your website is not currently doing the trick and getting people to convert into customers, then more website visitors isn't going to really make a huge dent in the real problem. So here's the real situation. What's 1 times 0? Well, it's 0. You learned that in math class as a child. It was the easiest multiplications because anything times 0 is 0. Well, guess what? If you get 10 times more visitors and you're not having the things on your website that you need to convert them, then it's still not going to be that much of an impact. Or if you get 100 times more visitors or 1,000 times more visitors. Now, I'm not suggesting that your website is currently a 0. It's probably not. But as you'll see as we go through this webinar, there's going to be definite room for improvement. I'm going to encourage you to take some detailed notes and find out what you can do to make your website convert better, okay? So here's what you need to know. Most of your internet success now is coming from the longevity of your company. People just know about you. What I call situational success, meaning there's business that's coming through the internet. People are going to find somebody, and maybe they find you, and they need to buy from somebody, so maybe they'll buy from you. Competitor incompetence, you've got a lot of competitors that just don't understand this stuff, that are sort of feeling their way around and not getting the job done. You know, I like to say that even a dead fish can float downstream. That's what happens. You find it's not that hard to catch a dead fish that's floating down the stream. It's there, you catch it, and that's kind of what this picture is. You see this lady here, she's all excited because she caught this fish. And what I'm suggesting is instead of just putting your net out and catching the dead fish that are floating down the stream, meaning the ones that are easy, let's get a little bit more creative. I know it's a gross picture, sorry about that, but let's get a little bit more creative and let's find ways to really have a strategy that captures more people onto your website, but more importantly, when they do get to your website, makes them actually convert, okay? So that's where this whole fishing where the fish are and catching fish comes from. The smartest marketing dollars you can spend are online. Why? Because online prospects don't need to be convinced that they need to buy what you sell. You just need to help them find you and then show them that they should buy from you. And you're going to get more deals than you get right now. And everybody looks at that and says, oh, well, we already, show them that they should buy from us. And I'm going to say this, wait until you go through this webinar before you get too definitive on your thought process there, because I'm going to show you that you're probably falling short. There's three simple steps to maximizing your internet presence. The first one is called increasing your website's conversionability, things like making it professional. That one we'll talk about briefly. Then identity, social proof, and power. These are some concepts that you may not be that familiar with that we're going to really hammer today, and you're going to get a good idea of exactly what this is and how it can help you out. The second one is engaging in search engine optimization, SEO. You're probably familiar with the term. That's getting Google or the other websites to find your website and rank it so that people can actually find it, rank it on the first page of Google. That's ideal, right? Number 3, engage in pay-per-click advertising, sponsored links. Some people call this paid search. This is links that you can pay for on Google or other search engines where people can find you and ostensibly click through to you and hopefully do business with you. So we're going to talk mostly about number 1 today. I'm going to then spend a little bit of time talking about number 2, and I'm going to put it in plain English. I'm going to describe to you what search engine optimization is and how it works in a way that you've never heard it before, a way that none of the nerds that normally sell that stuff can explain it, and I'm going to let you know what Google's really looking for and how to really make SEO work. And then we're going to talk very, very briefly, maybe not even at all, depending on how much time we have, on number 3, pay-per-click advertising. Suffice it to say, that's something you probably want to look into doing. So let's talk about the problem with your current website. It probably looks okay. Maybe it looks really good. Maybe it doesn't look that good, but most websites that I look at look okay. I looked at one yesterday afternoon that looked stunning, but it still had a problem. It probably looks a lot like everyone else's site, but here's the key one. It's full of platitudes. There's no identity. Platitudes. It doesn't say anything that helps people really understand who you are, what you're all about, what they can expect when they do business with you, why you're different and better than your competitors. It doesn't communicate your identity with power, precision, and passion. I'm going to spend a lot of time here today talking about these concepts. So right now, it's just a little quick introduction. As we get into this, this will start to make a lot more sense to you. Next, it lacks evidence, doesn't prove your case. Think of yourself like an attorney where you've got to build a case and convince people that you're the best person to do business with. Does your website do that? And the answer is right now it probably has elements that are positive that people like, but it probably doesn't do a very good job, and it probably lacks evidence. So we're going to talk about how to put that together. You think that you need more traffic and all will be well. That is false. What you need to do is make your website have more conversionability. So let's talk about the 4 concepts of conversionability. The first one being professionalism. Number 2, identity. Number 3 is power. And number 4 is social proof and evidence. So we'll go through these, and we're going to start with professionalism. This is important. This is not the major key, but this is important. So we'll start with it. Here's the truth. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. If you have a website that looks like your nephew made it for a 7th grade computer class, it's not going to bode well. People are going to look at it, and they're going to say, ew, this doesn't look like a company I want to do business with. Stated differently, you cannot wear cut-off jean shorts and a T-shirt to a wedding. You'll look stupid. People will think you look out of place. And you'll say, well, why do I got to dress up? And then the answer is because that's what people expect. And if you want to show up looking like a hippie, that's okay, but just expect the reaction. And don't get mad when people react in a certain way. It's called the way things are. So you got to have a website that looks good. You have to at least wear a nice suit when you show up to the wedding, or if you're a woman, then probably a nice dress. Looking good isn't the only thing, though, but it's an extremely important start. So think of it this way. You've heard of online dating sites. This is eHarmony. I know there's several others. I got married before the internet got invented, so I don't really have a lot of experience with this, but I will tell you this. The concept is pretty simple. You put a profile on the dating website, and then people who are interested can come take a look. Well, think about this. If you were putting that kind of a website together for yourself, a profile on a dating website, what would you want to put out there? Would you want to put out there how awesome you are and how good looking you are? Would you want to put your best foot or face, as the case may be, forward? Or would you put a picture of you that was kind of ugly and kind of frumpy? And would you want to talk about all your crazy nuances and things that make you weird? Or would you want to put something that looks good? Well, think about your website as your profile page in a dating environment, but as something that customers are looking at as they're quote-unquote interviewing or trying to select who to do business with. It's no different. So here's what we see is normally on a website, you put pictures, to use this dating analogy, that just don't look that good, all right? So you put junk like this. This is kind of what you look like. When in reality, you're a lot better looking. But the truth is, not to be too crazy, you probably don't have a website that looks as ugly as these pictures. And remember, I'm in the middle of an analogy here. I'm not talking about literally looking like Popeye. Here's the problem. Let's assume that you are a really good company that takes a lot of time and effort and care to do things right, to treat people right, to do things well, to give an honest effort and charge a fair price and give an honest value to your customer. Let's assume that you do that. And then you go to the internet and put together a website, and it doesn't look nearly as good as what you actually do. So that's like having these ugly pictures. And here's what happens is, you recognize this guy, don't you? This is George Costanza from Seinfeld, right? And here's what happens is, you tend to put up a website that looks okay. It looks okay. It communicates okay. It's not like the guys on the left, but it's a little bit balder, a little bit shorter, a little bit pudgier, a little bit more annoying, like George Costanza, than reality. Why would you put a picture of yourself? Why would you put information about yourself that isn't as good as you actually are? Here's what we want to do. We want to have pictures that are a little more flattering, a little more true to form. If you are the remodeling equivalent of George Clooney, don't put George Costanza on your website. It gives people the wrong impression. You say, well, when they meet us, then they'll know that we're really, as good as we say, as we say we are, and as we hope they want it. We want them to know we are. But what if they don't ever get past the fact that you were ugly on the website? Okay, so here's a good example of an ugly website. I'm not saying this is you, but you know what? This is horrible. Or what about this? This is one of our clients. They came to us and they said, we don't want to be known as a chuck in a truck. I said, then why on earth would you put a picture of a red pickup truck on the middle of the homepage of your website? Weber Construction, a family-owned and operated professional general contracting business located in Colorado Springs. We're fully licensed and insured. Our team has more than 35 years of construction experience. We offer a complete turnkey stop shopping for all your additions or remodelings, because I have lots of additions and remodelings. But you get the idea. It's not a good representation of what this company actually is or does or what they're all about. Here's another one, change of view, changing the window replacement industry one view at a time. This is the bottom part of that same website. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't communicate anything very powerfully. So if you look at the 4 keys of conversionability, number 1 is professionalism. Number 2 is identity. I'll get to that in a second. Number 3 is power, and number 4 is social proof and evidence. And I know you don't know exactly what all those things are, but you know what? These websites are just falling really short. So let's get into the topic of identity. This is really the keystone concept of today's webinar, identity. Most marketing is filled with platitudes, words, phrases that are really commonplace and predictable, that lack power to evoke interest through overuse, through repetition, that are stated as if they were original or significant. Things like best service, highest quality, largest selection, free estimates, in business since 1431 BC. These are things that you say in your marketing that you think is awesome, but people look at it and they expect you to say that. When you say you've got the best quality and that you've been in business since 1431 BC or since 1982, as the case may be, you think it's great and you know what it means, and people kind of look at it and go, okay, well, that's what I would expect you to say. Nobody puts together a website that says, hey, we suck. They just don't do it. They might not look that great, but they don't say things like that. We want to come up with an identity. Here's what the definition of identity is. Write this down. This is the most important concept of today. Words, phrases, and images articulated with power, precision, and passion. Look at that trifecta of words: power, precision, passion. To instantly and definitively communicate who you are, what you're all about, what your customers can expect when doing business with you. So here's what I want to ask you right now. Does your website, as it's currently constituted right now today, does it have words, phrases, and images that are articulated with power, precision, and passion that instantly, definitively communicate who you are, what you're all about, what your customers can expect when doing business with you? And the answer is you don't. You say, oh, no, we do. No, you don't. Well, how could you possibly know that, Rich? Because I've looked at thousands of websites, and they never do. I'll show you plenty of examples of before and afters, and you'll get a good feel for this, okay? Let's do a quick Google search here for Columbus, Ohio basement finishing, and let's see what we come up with. This is my Google search. Let's see what we find. Well, here's the first website that comes up. Buckeye Basements Incorporated, the basement finishing experts. So here's my question for you. What does this communicate? What can we expect when doing business with this company? What are they all about? Well, they make dungeons and Cheers bar scenes. I'm exaggerating, but look at it. Read the text. What does it say? Multi-award winning designs and services. Okay, I mean, that's a nice looking bar, I guess. And I'm not really sure what that is on the top photo, but this is an opportunity for them to communicate to us why we should do business with them, how they're different, why they're better, what makes them unique, and they just don't say anything. They plead the fifth. Gates Home Improvements. Why somebody would put a sheetrock thing as their picture on their website, I have no idea. Basement Remodeling. We are offering a free 1/2 bath, a new basement contract of 600 square feet or more. Check out our page for more details. This is called showing up to a wedding with cut-off jean shorts and one of those T-shirts that has the front of it looks like a tuxedo. Not only do you look out of place, you look like a dork and an idiot. That's what's going on here. And it's got no identity. There's no social proof. There's no power. It's just horrible. And we get to this one. It looks a little nicer. The Finished Basement LLC. Well, thank goodness it's an LLC, because that's the only kind of business I do business with. Thank you for visiting the Finished Basement. As one of Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, Northern Kentucky's leading basement remodelers, we are committed to providing our customers unparalleled value. Every month, customers save thousands of dollars by choosing one of our finished basement packages. This is called platitudes. This is stuff that people would expect you to say. Okay? Let's look at the next one. Okay, this one looks pretty good. I think this guy's got the idea of wearing a suit to the wedding. He's not wearing a dorky-looking T-shirt or anything, but does it say anything? Let's assume that you put yourself for just a minute in the seat of the person who's Googling, who's looking to remodel their basement. This is what you find. Basement finishing. Suncraft specializes in basement finishing in Columbus, Central Ohio area. We can make the basement of your dreams become a reality. Give new identity to previously unused space. Finishing your basement is the most cost-effective way to add more living space and provide greater enjoyment in your home. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think there's anybody that's Googling basement finishing that isn't already keenly aware of why they want to finish their basement? Do you think somebody just happens to be perusing the internet for anything they can find and they happen on this website and they're like, wait a second, you mean that big, ugly, musty space down those stairs, I could actually do something with it? Huh, that had not occurred to me. Were you aware of that, Ed? Oh, I was not aware of that, Johnny. It doesn't say what people are looking for, which is, why should I hire these guys? Now, they do look better than some of the other companies, so that's good. Remember what I said, most of your success is coming from your longevity, your competitor incompetence, and what? Situational success. They found us, we look better than everyone else, so they bought from us. I don't want to win based on beauty contest. I want to win based on beauty contest and brains, okay? Here's another one, the Basement Guys, for all your basement needs. This one looks pretty good. It doesn't say a whole lot, but it looks okay. Let's keep going. Here's a good one. 1-800-USAOWN.com. It's an Owens Corning dealer. Here's what's interesting about this. The website looks fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it. Nobody's going to look at this and mistake it for your nephew's, project or whatever. But let's read the text. Does it tell us anything that helps us make a decision? Does it facilitate our decision-making process? Does it help us draw a conclusion that says this is the company that we want to do business with? Let's read it. The headline says, bathroom remodels, attic insulation, basement finishing in Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and throughout Central Ohio. Have I learned anything? No. Next, 1-800 USA Home is an Owens Corning basement finishing system franchise proudly serving Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and many other locations throughout Central Ohio. See, this is what's called keyword stuffing. These are words that are put there so that Google will recognize this web page on its indexing process so that it will then show up in the search rankings. Now, that is an honorable thing to want to accomplish. Of course, we want Google to find us. However, if Google helps people to find us, and then when those people find us, they don't learn anything about us, and they don't read anything that reads in human language. Have I read anything after I read the first headline and the first sentence that made any difference or sense to me whatsoever? No. Then what good is it doing? What we want to do is take this kind of keyword type information and we want to shove it down what I call below the fold. Below the fold meaning off of the main thing that you see on the top of the website when you first get on there before you scroll it down. Okay? Read the rest of this. Founded in 1999, our company has built a reputation as one of the state's most respected interior home remodelers. Our service falls under 3 main categories. And see, it's not saying anything. We want to say something. At a bare minimum, let's say something positive about who we are and what we do. I'll show you examples of this in just a second. You'll get a good idea. Creating a powerful identity. Ask yourself these important questions. This is the starting point for finding out what your identity is. So make a note of these questions. Number 1, what do you already do that customers like? Think about those last websites we looked at. What do you already do that customers like? They didn't say anything that answered that question. What do you take particular pride in? What makes you better and different than most of your competitors? What are you really, really good at? What do you want written on your tombstone? What are you absolutely unwilling to fudge on? See, this is the beginnings of a great identity, is to find out these answers to these questions. And then when you have an identity, it becomes the hub of your business. So we take it, this circle represents it being in the middle, meaning that everything else is going to draw from it. And then we've got your website and your ads and your pre-positioning and your home shows and your sales presentation, your phone scripts and your mailers. And all of these things are going to draw from your identity, but only if what? Oh, only if you have an identity. Now, here's what I find. This is really, really perplexing. Not really. It's not perplexing to me, but I guess it kind of is. Here's what it is. If I took the owner of any company that's on this webinar and I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go into the sales presentation and I want to watch you sell. Here's what's going to happen. Your identity is going to shine through in that sales presentation loud and clear. People are going to get a very good sense of who you are and what you're all about and why they should do business with you. And when you're one-on-one, you don't have much of a problem communicating your identity. But then we turn around and look at your marketing collateral, the things that you send out, your advertising, your website, your home show stuff, and it's nowhere to be found. You can't find it. It doesn't exist. Why? Because you're not an expert at communicating it. So what we've got to do is find out what it is. So let's take a look at a case study. This is a remodeling company. They do kitchens and baths. And you might say to me, well, we don't do kitchens and baths. We're more of a window and roofing or whatever type of company. That's okay. The same process works for any kind of company. So let's take a look at this case study, and then I'll show you some more a little bit later. Situation. They've been in business for 25 years, highly competent. Their customers love them. All those kinds of things. Probably the same things that you could say about your company. This guy has a fanatical need to get things done right for clients. He's basically OCD. This is the kind of guy that will bend over backwards to get anything done at any time, make sure it's exactly right. The guy has no tolerance for things that are not done exactly right. Probably like many of you. Sweats every single little detail. He refuses to allow anything that's not to his exacting standards. So his premise is, I'm a remodeler who, with exacting standards, who will do everything right. So let's take a look. Here's his website. Tell me what you think about it. Let me let it get on the screen there. All right, there it is. This is the guy's website. His name's Don Isaacson. You can see that there. Remodeling that revives the value of your life at your home. Revive remodeling. Do you feel more confident reading that? Would you say that this website is super professional? Is this guy showed up to the wedding wearing a suit, or maybe not cut off jean shorts, but this guy's kind of like wearing khakis and an old polo shirt? Maybe is about the best he's going to pass for here. But let's take a look at what it says. Welcome to Revive LLC's website for information. By the way, this is the bad version. We'll get to the good one in a minute. Revive LLC's, oh, it's an LLC again, thank goodness, for information on your next home improvement remodeling project. We are a full-service residential general contracting company serving clients throughout the greater Portland, Oregon metro area, from small projects like painting a room, handyman services, to larger-scale renovations such as bathroom and kitchen remodeling, or preparing your home for the retirement years. Aging in place, our team of dedicated professionals and craftsmen are committed to the quality and service you deserve. Think about it. If I wanted to come up with a definition of platitude and give an example, I could not do any better than this. Our team of dedicated professionals and craftsmen are committed to the quality and service you deserve. We strive to make your remodeling experience not just satisfactory, but to exceed your expectations. Here's my question. Is anybody really going to read that crap? Really? Really? Is anybody really going to read that? Or are they going to kind of look at it, gloss over, and go, okay, whatever? This is a good example of a company that has a great identity, but they have no ability to communicate it, and their business, as a result, suffers. Okay? So after interviewing the owner and his wife, Don and Lori, this is what I helped them come up with. This is the same guy, Don. Notice that he's not smiling. He doesn't look mad, but he looks serious. Persnickety, demanding, hard to please, picky. Then I'm the remodeler for you. I am not the fastest. I am not the cheapest. I am, however, according to my customers, the best. In remodeling, it's all about the details, and I'm obsessed with them. Why? Because I'd rather do things right than right now. It takes time to do things properly, and I refuse to compromise on quality for speed. I am not the fastest, and I'm not the cheapest contractor around, but according to my customers, I exceed their expectations with the final result. Your investment in remodeling in your home is something I take very seriously. It's about you, your needs, lifestyle, having minimal disruption during the construction. That's why I prefer to spend ample time with you to go through the details, blah, blah, blah. Here's my cell phone number on his website. Feel free to interrupt my dinner. Wake me up at 2 a.m. Make me leave home early from vacation. On the right-hand side, we get into some things we haven't discussed yet. Social proof. Other people have done this. Free estimate. Check out our reviews. 17 references right here, right now. Compare local contractors. Here's our portfolio. This is a website that actually works because, first and foremost, it has identity. Let me ask you these questions. As you look at this page, if you were surfing the internet looking for a remodeler, here's the question. Do you have any idea what this company stands for? Do you have somewhat of a feel of what you could expect? Is there any reason to believe that they're different than other contractors? The answer, it's not subjective. It's not, well, it kind of depends on how you think about it. No, it doesn't. It's obvious. It's full-blown obvious what this guy is, who he is, what he stands for, and what you can expect. Okay? This is called identity. This is called what almost no remodeling contractors have. Now, here's what you need to know. Just because he's persnickety and demanding, hard to please, this is not your identity. This is his identity. Every single customer of ours, every single company has to, by definition, look at your specific, unique personality of your business and then develop an identity around that. And I'll show you several examples as we go through this. Okay, but let me show you how this becomes the hub. Now we write an ad for this guy. Kitchen remodeling. Are you anxious to get the job done, or are you anxious to get the job done right? We take a little longer, we cost a little more, but wait until you see the final product. Here's another one. I could honestly care less if you have a list of 3 remodelers who are cheaper than me. That's pretty bold. Well, I don't think I would say something like that. They're going to think I'm expensive. Well, guess what? He's expensive. He's not the cheapest guy. He doesn't want the guy who has to shop at Walmart because that's all he can afford. He doesn't want that guy to remodel his mobile home kitchen. He's looking to do higher-end projects. He doesn't want to waste his time and your time if it's not the right fit. So why not tell people that? Draw a line in the sand. Here's who we are. Here's what we do. Here's what you can expect. Boom. That's it. Then we put this home show, persnickety, demanding, hard to please, then I'm the remodeler for you. We're not the fastest. We're not the cheapest. And then on the left-hand side of this screen, you'll see a big flyer we put together in conjunction with his home show strategy. That thing is 17 inches tall. On the back of it, there's a $10,000 bill that we hand out to people. Oh, I don't have time to talk about that, but it's pretty cool. These two on the right are the banners that he creates for the home show. Ruin my vacation, interrupt my dinner, wake me up at 2 a.m. My only concern is that your job is 100% perfect. Here's my cell number on the banner. Well, I give my cell number to all my customers. Yeah, well, you know what? We give it to everybody, period. Now, again, emphasis. I'm not saying this is your identity. This is probably not your identity. But you know what? You probably have an identity, but we don't know what it is because you don't tell us. Okay, we put it on as gift cards that we give away. And so now the identity is the hub of all these things. See how this works? See how cool this is? Are you starting to get a feel for how this thing comes together? Identity, this is where it's at. Now let's talk about the next factor of conversionability, which is power. When you speak with power, here's what's going to happen. People are going to believe you're powerful. When you speak with power, people are going to be drawn to you. When you speak with power, your character and competency are not questioned. When you speak with power, you stand out from the crowd. When you say things like, if you're persnickety, demanding, hard to please, and picky, then I'm the remodeler for you, people go, wow, that guy must do well dealing with hard to please, picky people like me, myself. And when you say, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the cheapest, but I am, according to my customers, the best, they say, dang, sounds like the kind of guy I want working on my project. Oh, well, this guy over here is cheaper. I could honestly care less if you've got 3 bids lower than mine. You know why? Because they suck. See, he doesn't have to say, because they suck, because it's understood. It's inherent in the whole discussion. It's called power. It's called power, okay? Let me show you some. These are not websites. These are postcards, but let me show you how this works. This is a window company. Meet Tim. Tim sells replacement windows. Tim will sit in your home for 2.5 painful hours till you finally wear down and say yes. This is called power. Of course, we're talking about low pressure. No arm twisting, no 2.5-hour sales meetings, no compliance techniques, no uncomfortable silence, no hard closes, no regrets. This is a window company. Look at these 2 postcards. I'll put the other one back on there. Where's the picture of the window? Where's the picture of the window? You say, well, you're anti-window picture, Rich. No, I'm not. I'm not anti-window picture at all. But if I'm talking about sales pressure, I need to talk about sales pressure. And if that's what my identity is, I'm not saying yours is or theirs is or it should be. I'm just saying if you had an identity, there's a company in Columbus, Ohio called Zen Windows. Dan Walt created this company 6-7 years ago, and his tagline is, relax, window quotes in 5 minutes. Relax, window quotes in 5 minutes. There's not a lot of window pictures going on there. You know why? Because it's not about the window. It's about the experience. So you just told me, didn't you, that I don't need to show pictures of windows. Come on, man. This is called principle-based learning. The principle is, let's speak with power. All right. Window companies love to talk about their incredible lifetime warranties. The only thing incredible about them is that they can legally call them lifetime. So you got this kind of nerdy-looking superhero. Then on the back, I won't show you the back, but on the back, there's a real, strong, typical-looking superhero, and then it talks about how their warranties cover everything. All right? Anyone who promises you 40% energy savings when you buy new windows is probably made of wood, has a friend named Geppetto, and has a rapidly growing nose. Power talk. When you talk with power, people believe you. When you talk with power, people don't question your competency and your character. When you talk with power, you stand out from the crowd. So let's move to the next one here, and we'll kind of integrate all this stuff as we go along. Conversionability, social proof, and evidence. People look to see what other people think to shortcut their own decision-making process. As humans, we hate making decisions because it's too hard. It's too much risk. So here's what we do. We just look around to see what everybody else is doing. Then we say, okay, I guess I'll do that. We call this social proof. The more quantity of social proof available, the better. So what we've got to do is facilitate getting social proof to people. We can do reviews, testimonials, references, photos. Let me show you some examples. This is a website for a company called Precision Door in New Jersey. Precision Door Service in New Jersey, and if you look on the right-hand side here, here's what you'll see. They break down their reviews by county: Bergen County, Essex County, Hunterdon County. There's about 6 or 7 counties on their website, and you can click on that, and it'll show you the town. So you can say, well, geez, I live in Bergenfield or Allendale, and you can actually see reviews right from that person's town. Now, you don't have to get this complex and this detailed to make it work. All you've got to do is understand that people want social proof, and our job as an attorney is to prove our case, and these become our what? Expert witnesses. So here's an example of one of their specific reviews, and here's why reviews are so powerful. Listen to how this review reads. Precision was just great. It was about the best service job I could ask for at a good price, too. They agreed to come the next morning from a 3 p.m. call the previous day, arrived on time, and called 20 minutes before they arrived. I wish all service folks would do that. They installed a new opener, replaced some old parts. There was no hard sell at all. They cleaned up and left the place cleaner than it was to start and removed all the leftover parts. The technician really knew his stuff and did what I considered a craftsman-level job. And then it's more. You can read it on there if you want, but here's the point. The specificity level of this review is extreme, to the point that when people read it, they go, that's real. Somebody really wrote that, and that's awesome. And it makes a huge impact. But here's the problem. See, if you don't have this, it doesn't make the impact. So we got to foster those. So as a action item for you, start to get reviews. Okay, so let's take a look at this company again. I'll refer back to them a few times as an example. So let's look at some of the social proof that they put on their website. So first of all, back. You see here on the right where it says 17 references right here, right now. Click for names and phone numbers. Well, guess what happens if you click that button? Here's what comes up on the screen. Revive Remodeling Reference List. This is a list of remodeling jobs we've completed recently in this area. Feel free to call any of them and ask about it. Some questions you might want to ask, because people don't really know what to ask references. What was your overall satisfaction with the job? Do you feel like you got exactly what you wanted? Were there any problems? And if so, how were they handled? Did you find Revive to be available when you needed them? If you had to do it over, would you hire them again? And then we would write the person's name, the city and state, what kind of project it was, and their phone number. How much do you have to call Revive on the phone to get this list? Do you have to give them a deposit and then we'll let you talk to our references? No, it's right here on the stinking homepage. And you say, well, I would never do that. It's too risky. People are going to abuse that, and they're going to call out my customers. They're going to try to steal my customers, and all these negative things are going to happen. You know what, dude? First of all, stop. Shut up for a minute. Just relax. All of that stuff is not going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to make a clear statement to your prospects that we're freaking good, and we're willing to put our name on the line, and we're willing to let you talk to people with no obligation. We don't even know who you are. That's how confident we are. And you say, well, these people are going to get deluged with these calls. Well, then rotate the list every once in a while. Come on, man. Find solutions, not problems. Yeah, you got to find the problems so that you can solve them. But don't just get bogged down and say, well, this is not going to work. Because guess what? This stuff works with a capital work. Next, online portfolio. If you go to their website, you click on portfolio, you'll see that they've got a section for kitchens, a section for baths, a section for exteriors, a section for, I think, room additions is below this. I don't know. I can't see this. It's not on the screen. And if you click on any one of those, you see something like this. So now we've got a series of photos, before and afters, and we've got a brief blurb that tells people not just, hey, we did a job, but here's what they were looking to accomplish. Here's why this job was important to them. Here's what we did. Here's the problems we encountered. Here's how we overcame them. And here's what we finally came up with. This is how you sell stuff right here. You know what? If you do this kind of stuff like I'm talking about, identity, social proof, power, professionalism, I think we can all agree that this is not the nicest looking website that you've ever seen in your entire life. It's definitely passable. It's definitely a nice suit at the wedding, but you know what? It's got so much power. It's got so much identity. It's got so much social proof that this website freaking kills it for them. That means good. That's good. It does good for them. Let me say, this is a series of emails that Lori Isaacson, the owner, sent to me. The first one says, hi, Rich. Okay, our new website has been up for 2 weeks now. Here are a few comments we've received from the few select that we've had review it. 1, looks great. You may get more pickier people than you want. A fabulous job on your new website. I just visited. What an upgrade. Wow, your website is fab. Love the humor. Love the before and afters. Very cool. Now, here's the greatest thing. This week we had 2 prospective clients who, to our surprise, had checked out our websites before we even showed up to bid a project. These were referrals from realtors we worked with. The potential clients brought it up during Don's on-site evaluation, saying that our website was impressive. Unlike any website they've ever seen before, they were particularly impressed with the verbiage and standing behind our work. Then, that was just right after the website launched. Then, this was the next email that we got from them. Rich, Chandel, those are the people on my team. Thought I'd email and let you know what's been happening. We landed our biggest remodeling job ever, over $200,000, not exactly common these days, with a couple who live out of state and are moving here this summer. We are convinced, no, are 99% certain we got the job because of the new website. The clients loved it and obviously read it all. We think they called all of our references. In the preliminary discussions with them, they referred to some of our gallery pictures, wanting those features or materials in their project. They are excited to have their project and story on our website when all is said and done. So thank you, MYM, for creating such a powerful tool to help us set apart from all the others. Here's all I'm trying to tell you. This crap works. And if you don't have this stuff in your website, you say, well, we got this great website already. We don't need that. You're fooling yourself. If you're doing good, I'm going to tell you a little story here in a minute about a company that's doing way better than you are, I promise you, that understands the need for this anyway, all right? Let me go through several examples to show you how this works. This is Incognito Custom Closets. This is a customer of ours. This is their website. This is their former website. This is the largest closet remodeling company in Memphis, Tennessee. They're one of the biggest in the country. They have the biggest showroom of anybody in the country. And look at their website. And you say, well, if they're the biggest in Memphis and they're doing so good, then why does it matter what their website says? I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to think about how inane that type of comment is. Why would they be successful without having a great website before we showed up? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, remember what I covered this earlier, longevity in the marketplace. Number two, situational success. They're more aggressive. They got more money out in the marketplace spending on advertising. But number three, what was number three? I forgot. Oh, competitor incompetence. Okay. So now let's read this. Let's read this. Okay. You tell me if this is good. I don't know. Maybe you think this is good. Incognito Custom Closets has been manufacturing custom closet organizing systems since 1994. Our meticulous attention to detail and unwavering commitment to the highest quality standards and service are unmatched. Our dedicated team of professionals has many years of experience in all aspects of the process, from development and design through precision manufacturing and installation. Our outstanding sales and service group are focused on your complete satisfaction. That is the biggest bunch of crap. You say, well, I don't know, that's true, they do that. Well, yeah, I know they do that. I know it's true. But you know what this sounds like? You ever remember watching Peanuts cartoons with Charlie Brown and Linus and Lucy and all that stuff? Remember when they would talk to an adult and the adult would say something to a school teacher or their parents? Remember what it sounded like? Wah, 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 wah. That's what this sounds like. And you say, no, but it's good. No, it's not good. It's platitudes. It's stuff that people would expect you to say. It has no impression on them whatsoever. There's a quote by a guy named Claude Hopkins, early advertising pioneer. He said, platitudes and generalities roll off the human understanding like water off a duck's back. It makes no impression whatsoever. That's what happens when you say stuff like this. So here's what we did. We created a new website for them. There's a reason over 4,300 families have trusted Incognito since 1994. Now, watch these power statements that are about to hit this screen hard. We always insist on doing every job exactly right. No flimsy hardware, drawer glides, or hinges, ever. No cheap fiberboard, wood, or cheesy laminates. Every project custom measured, constructed, and installed. No fast prefab kits with clumsy fit. Quality does cost more, but not by much. Yes, you have dozens, maybe even hundreds of options for organizing your closets. The question we get all the time is, why should we go with Incognito? To be upfront with you, we're not the cheapest solution. We're also not the fastest. If you're looking for fast and cheap, start at Home Depot or Lowe's. Then call around to some of our competitors. That being said, our closets are not exclusively for the rich and famous either. In fact, our average customer lives in a 2,700 square foot house, makes about $85,000 in household income, and spends about $3,000 with us on their closets. Guess what? This is called price conditioning, helping people understand who we are, what they can expect when they do business with us. See, this is called identity. You'll see on the right-hand side some of the similar things as on the previous website. It's not just the home page. It extends into all aspects of the website. This is the About Us page. Usually you go to somebody's About Us page and it says something like, oh, we started this business in 1431 BC and we have the highest quality and service. Here's what it says. Between our engineering backgrounds, our mother's tough love, building the highest quality closet organizers in Memphis was absolutely inevitable. How two nerds from Memphis built a closet organizer empire, an 18-year overnight success. And then it tells this story about how they were nerds and how they started this company and how it was a rocky start and how they started building poor quality. They admit, we used to build poor quality. And then there's a story in there about how their mother had a friend from church who got upset because her son built this closet for a friend and it was a piece of junk, and the mother was incensed and berated the son for building this junk. And so he changed. It's an interesting story, and it's very, very believable. Okay, let's go to another one. Taylor & Young, windows, doors, and more. All right, it's about as average of a looking website as you can get. About Taylor & Young was established in Pennsylvania over 30 years ago. This is called people that just couldn't think of anything, so they just put whatever they could think of. Soft light vinyl windows, an extensive line of replacement windows and accessories to fit any home, region, or climate. Taylor & Young is a family-owned and operated business dedicated to superior installation windows and doors. Established in 1979, we have been serving our customers ever since. Well, what else would you do besides service your customers since you started? We strive to offer our customers appropriate solutions to best meet their needs. Oh, this stuff hurts my head. I talked to this guy. I said, tell me about your business. Tell me about yourself. He said, I know more about windows than anybody else. I've forgotten more than other people know. I am a nerd when it comes to windows. I said, really? Interesting. I said, so how do you do it selling? He goes, I hate selling. I can't stand it. He says, I would rather just give people a quote over the telephone. I said, really? You're a nerd who knows everything about windows but hates selling and would rather give people a quote over the phone. Drum roll, please. Taylor & Young Windows and Doors. Looking for great windows without all the sales pressures? Then call the window nerd. Wayne Taylor, certified window nerd. Fact, I know as much about windows as anyone on earth. Fact, sales situations make me really uncomfortable. Result, you get the best windows without the dog and pony show. I'll give you a quote over the phone. I'll come to your house if that's what you really want. Either way, you'll get a fair, no games price. He's got the nerd way and the usual way. At the top right-hand corner, instant quote right now over the phone. We've got reviews, references. This is awesome. One of the things that's hilarious is on his current website, his previous website, he had a button for current promotions, and when you went on there, there was nothing on there. And I said, why do you have this promotion section of your website if there's nothing on there? And he said, oh, well, my website guy said I needed it. I said, well, why don't you put something on there? He says, well, I don't do any promotions. He says, they make me uncomfortable. So on his new website, we kept promotions, and when you go to the promotion site section of his website, it says $0 off. I hate promotions. They make me uncomfortable. Why can't somebody just give you the real price up front without playing games? And it works to his identity. Okay, here's a company out of Pittsburgh called Energy Swing Windows. They've invented this window that swings in, as you can see on the picture there. It doesn't tilt like most windows. They think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Look what it says. Easy to clean swing windows manufactured right here in Western PA. How do I know I'm getting the best value in replacement windows? On the right-hand side, we have sort of this, I consider this ugly looking free guide and bonus $10 gift card, $40 value for free. This is I interviewed these guys. They're unbelievable. They do literally everything right. And so here's what I came up with for them. Every once in a while, you find that one company that literally does everything right. We sweat every single detail on every single project, ensure a 100% perfect fit every single time, start to finish and beyond, no exceptions. How we beat the pants off every other window company in Pittsburgh. And then the points of differentiation are listed below. On the right-hand side, we've got references, we've got reviews, and then we've got what's called a satisfaction tracker, updated every Friday since 1992, number of window jobs, number of windows we've installed, other types of projects, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now let's look at some evidence on this site. If you click on their warranties, window companies love to talk about their incredible lifetime warranties. The only thing incredible about them, we've heard this before, is that you can legally call them incredible. Don't get suckered by a bunch of loopholes and exclusions that in the fine print that you can't read. If you really know what's covered in your warranty and for how long, and then he talks about what's in their warranty and what exclusions are not in his warranty. Read this. For as long as you live in your home, everything is 100% covered, including glass breakage, broken screens, any defect, anything. Your service call, including trip charge, parts, and labor, will always be $0.00. The other guys, not so much. Here's some common tricks, problems, and annoyances. And you know what? It's true. Now, this is their identity. This is their selling point. This is what makes them good. This is not necessarily you, but I think you get the idea. Now, let's talk about this swing window. They've got this swing window, but nobody really can tell that it's any different or better than any other kind of window because people don't know what windows even exist. Comparing swing into traditional tilt windows is like comparing computer versus typewriter, car versus horse and buggy, smartphone versus rotary phone. And then we talk about how it's different. On this page, remember we talked about power. This is just power. This is like left, right, and just like getting punched in the face and punched in the stomach in a good way. Not that you're trying to punch your customers, but man, we're just keep hitting them with all this awesome stuff. We're the only company in Pittsburgh that sells it, makes it, installs it, and warrants all three aspects for as long as you live in your home. Single source supplier means single source responsibility. Most contractors have at least 3 different companies involved in your window job. That's 3 chances to drop balls, point fingers, and shirk responsibilities. Man, this is just powerful stuff. Our customers don't just like us. They're flag-waving fanatics who sing our praises. And then you can click on this card and you can read their customer surveys. I don't have time to go through this in detail. Suffice it to say, it's called evidence. Here's a company called Purpose Driven Restoration out of Minnesota. I got to talking to them. They said that 90-something% of all of their business is insurance work from storms, hailstorms, and other kinds of storms. And I said, well, okay, great. So what's the big deal? And they said, well, the biggest problem with storm work is that people get screwed by their insurance company and they don't even know it. And we help them navigate through that process, get them the most money so they can do their job right. I said, oh, you mean like this? Storm damage. Your insurance company wants to pay you as little as possible. Do not accept their first offer. It will not be enough to do the job right. Call us immediately if you have any of these situations. Your failure to take action now may cost you later. Here's some examples of insurance companies underpaying. And it's powerful. It's a completely different identity than other companies because their situation is completely different than other companies. It just depends on who you are and what you do. I showed you this one earlier for Weber Construction. Remember that? Here's what we came up with. Never ask a remodeler how much is your price. Instead, ask what will I get for my money. Jason Weber specializes in delivering exactly what you want. How to get exactly what you want, nothing you don't want, and make it absolutely sure it's right on budget. No fake lowball estimates, no outlandish out-of-budget fantasy bids. And his big issue is that all these remodeling companies do exactly what it says here. They give fake lowball estimates and then charge you more later, or they'll give you an outlandish budget that you can't even actually afford because they want to look cool. He says we don't do either one of those things. That's what he's really committed to. As you click on his About Us page, it says, I dropped out of college, took a beating in the framing business, and learned a $372,000 lesson in doing the right thing. And it tells a story about during the recession when he had a framing company and his biggest customer owed him $372,000 and filed bankruptcy. He never collected. And everybody told him, bankrupt your company, don't pay your suppliers, don't pay your vendors. And he said, you know what? It's not the right thing to do. And he stuck it out, and he went into debt, and he paid back all of his suppliers and all of his vendors, even though he hadn't received payment. And he did it because it's the right thing to do, and it builds credibility for him as a remodeler. We tell that story. Okay? As you go to the frequently asked questions page, usually frequently asked questions are throwaways. They're just junky questions that people don't read the answers to. We want the frequently asked questions section to point to what? The identity. Question, don't all remodelers give you what you want? Well, many of them will, but here's the problem. Many remodelers, understandably, are anxious to get your business. They also know that most customers, like you, want more than you can afford. And because lack of familiarity with the process, you will underestimate how much the job is going to cost. So to avoid losing you on the front end by quoting you a large price, they find ways to cut the price down to what they feel is a more affordable level. This almost always leads to disappointment, either in terms of customers who think they're getting one thing, what they want, but actually getting much less, or customers who give up on what they really want so they can get a low price, simply because that's what the remodeler told them to do. And it goes through and it explains that. Next question, why do other remodelers play these pricing games? Next question, are you telling me that you think you are the best remodeler in Colorado Springs? Answer, quite possibly. The fact is there are many good remodelers. The problem is that if you happen to hire one that's not very good, you could be in for a long and pleasant remodeling experience. Make sure you check our code of ethics and competency. And it goes through, and it just got more questions that point to their identity. Next example, this is a company called Smart Electric. It's a little bit outside of home improvement and remodeling, but it's an electric company. Welcome to Smart Electric, certified electrician, Smart Electric company. And it's kind of got this text that's hard to read. It's got a good quote there. I can guarantee my certified electrician will show up on time with a smile on his face. That's good, but it's just, it looks so cheesy. And if you start reading it, it says, we're homeowners, electrical needs in Northern Virginia. We're proud to do a Better Business Bureau. We got an A rating. Call us to schedule electric. I said, what's the deal? Why do people do business with you? And he says, you know what? We're super friendly, and women just love us because we're very disarming, and they trust us. I said, oh, you mean like this? Service with a woman's touch. Meet the pleasant, stress-free electrical contractor. I guarantee my electrician will show up on time with a smile on his face and do a terrific work, or your house call is free. And then we've got why women love us. On time or it's free. Clean, friendly, respectful text. Upfront, no pressure pricing. Everything is 100% guaranteed. We support women's causes. Call us for lighting fixtures, ceiling fans, smoke detectors, etc. See, we've taken what he does normally and naturally, and we've now communicated it in a powerful way. This is called identity, all right? Now, last example. This is a company called 1-800-Hansons. You might have heard of them. On the 2011 Qualified Remodeler Top 500 list, they were 10th with $46 million in sales. They'll be over 50 this year. This is a company that does a lot of things right. They're in Detroit, where the economy is depressed, and they are kicking butt, and they're taking names. I was in their office this week on Tuesday. Why? Because they hired me to fix some of their things that they feel like can make their business even better. This is a company, I looked at their reports, they have sold, as of 2 days ago, so this information it's actually 3 days old. This is Friday now. It was Tuesday when I looked at this report. So as of 3 days ago, on the 24th of July, they had sold 256 jobs from the internet this month. Now, that's for 1 month, and the month wasn't over yet. Why on earth would a company that sold 256 jobs, now that does not include pay-per-click, which they also do. That includes just companies, that includes only customers that came through their main website. 256 jobs sold this month. And there's many, many other jobs that they've sold this month that come from, they sell well over 1,000 jobs a month. But here's the point. They're still wanting to get identity, because you look at this guy's website. This is Brian Elias, the owner of the company, and he says, you know what? We do so many things awesome, but we don't tell people. And he knows that. This is their homepage. Take a look at their window page. This is their window page, 50% off windows. What's the identity of this company? You're going to get cheap windows. And that's really not what they want people to know. They want people to know that they'll get a good deal. But look at this, what it says here. Replacement window features by Hansen, made from pure 100% vinyl fusion welded corners. Nobody knows what that means. Aluminum reinforced sashes with interlock systems. Nobody knows what that means. So the point is, here's a company that's doing better, let's just be honest, than everybody on this call, okay? If you're the one exception, which I doubt, okay, whatever. But they're doing better than everybody, and they're still hiring us to do this and put this identity into their website and into their marketing collateral and into their pre-positioning. Why? Because he understands. He's smart enough to know. The guy's smart enough to build a $50 million company. He's also smart enough to know when he sees something that makes sense. Here's why I'm showing you this right now. I want you to know that no matter how well you're doing on the internet, there is definitely opportunity for you to do better by putting your identity loud and clear, front and center, easy to understand, powerfully articulated, precise, passionate into your marketing materials, particularly into your website. There's a room for improvement no matter who you are. Now, I don't have an after for this guy. This is the before. I don't have an after because we just literally started 2 days ago. 3 days ago, I guess. All right, so that being said, let's take a quick break and let's hear from a couple of our sponsors. The first one is Bath Wraps by Liners Direct. And they're not with us live on the call today, so I'll just give you a little bit of an overview. You can go find them at linersdirect.com. This is one of the original companies that invented bath wraps years and years ago, and they are now one of the top companies. They supply. In the past, they've supplied a lot of the other companies. Now they've got dealers all over the country. They're looking for more dealers. If you are interested in adding bathrooms, or if you've got a different bathroom type product and you're interested in theirs, they've got better products. They've got stronger materials. They got better warranties. They got better support in terms of marketing and other things. That's why they're sponsors. They take information like this and disseminate it to their dealers. So take a close look at Bath Wraps by Liner Direct. This is a company that is far and away the leader in that space. There's other companies that will say they're the leaders. I won't name any names because I don't want to be negative, but this is the real deal. Bath Wraps by Liner Direct. Next is Market Sharp. Now, Market Sharp is the company that got me involved in home improvement remodeling marketing. I'd done several projects in the industry before then, but it was 2005 when Tim Mush called me and said, hey, do you want to do some webinars? And we ended up doing some seminars and things like that. So I've got a soft spot on my heart for MarketSharp. They've got a great product. I've got a couple slides for them. It's the industry's leading web-based CRM system. When I first started dealing with Tim in 2005, it was not web-based. It was a software that you would install on your PC like all software used to be. And I said, when are you going to get this thing so it's web-based so people can use it out in the field and anytime, anywhere? And he said, we're working on it. And it's been about 2 years ago now. It went live, the web-based version, and I'm telling you, this thing is awesome. Keeping track of your prospects, your leads, and your customers, there's really no other solution that even comes close, specifically for the remodeling industry. So some of their features, like I said, it's web-based. It allows you to manage all your customers, job costing, commission tracking, service management, lead paint compliancy. You can look at this list. I mean, the list is long for a reason because this is awesome software. If you're not using this stuff, stop what you're doing, call MarketSharp on the phone, and get going with this. You can see their website right there, 800-335-4254, marketsharp.com for more information, okay? So let's do this. Let's now get back to our webinar. We've talked about how to build a website. We talked about conversionability. There was 4 principles. Principle 1, professionalism. Number 2, identity. Number 3, power. Number 4, social proof. Now let's quickly take just a few minutes and let's talk about driving traffic. If you have a site worth visiting, your first priority is going to be search engine optimization. You want your company to come up on the first page when people search for relevant terms. This takes time, it takes know-how, it takes ongoing TLC, tender loving care. This is not something that can be done once and then forgotten about. Second priority is going to be pay-per-click advertising. It's going to be a little bit faster way to show up in search. It costs more money, and you still have to have a certain kind of know-how. What we're going to focus on today is we're going to talk for a minute about the first priority, which is search engine optimization. So if you were to search for Windows in Austin, you would see the paid links that come up at the top. Most people are probably familiar with that. You would then see the organic search that comes up at the bottom, and this is what we're gunning for when we do search engine optimization, is getting your company to show up in these ones here, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. So to understand how to make this work, what we've got to do is we've got to peel away all this junk that you hear in the industry. There's a bunch of nerds out there that are talking about search engine optimization, and they purposefully use words that you can't understand that make it sound like it's impossible to achieve anything. And the fact is, it's not. All you've got to understand is Google, who they are and what they're looking for, what they're trying to accomplish, and then do that so that you can get the result that you want. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how to understand what Google wants. And to do this, we're going to use what's called the SEO pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid, the foundation, the most important thing is coding. And the reason it's in red is because this is stuff that you got to hire a nerd to do. You don't know how to do this. If you tried to learn how to do this, it would be a waste of time because it's computer coding. So we'll talk briefly about that in a minute, but what we want to talk more about is content, keywords, links, and social media. These are parts of your SEO that you can control as a non-nerd, but we do have to leave the coding stuff to the nerds. So let's talk briefly about that. And I've got it in red here because this is stuff that you have to leave to the nerds. Setting up the back end of your site. This is the stuff like programming the site in the first place. It's the analytics that allow you to see how you're doing. It's stuff like meta and header tags. And I'm not even going to read that thing that's on your screen because I put that there to show you that this is a pain in the butt stuff that nerds have to do. Basically, it's programming your site so that Google knows what your site is, what it's about, what people can expect when they come onto the site. It's the keywording, it's the tagging, and stuff like that, okay? Now, here's what you need to know about this. You need to hire a nerd to do it. The nerd, if he has the base level skill set, can do this. It's not that hard to do this if you know how to do it, okay? In other words, even though you don't know how to do it because you're not a nerd, the skill set required to do this is not that unique or difficult to get for people that have that type of ability, okay? So let's talk about stuff you can do, though. And I want to just take you here for a second, off of the slides for a second. I want to walk you through this verbally, and I want you to understand how Google works, okay? So pay attention very, very closely. This is something that you've never heard before that's going to make things a lot more easy to understand, okay? So understand what I said earlier. Google wants Google's job in life, here's what Google really wants. It wants people to find what they're searching for, because it knows if people don't find what they're searching for, they're going to quit using Google, and then Google's entire business model goes down the toilet. So Google has a vested interest in making sure that if somebody searches, they find things what they're looking for. Okay? So how does Google determine what people are looking for? Well, the people that are in charge of SEO will use a very scary word called algorithm. And they'll say that Google has algorithms that determines what they're going to deem as important and relevant, and they change their algorithms all the time, so you can never really know what Google's looking for. Well, there's truth to that, because Google is using algorithms or equations or formulas to find things that people use to try to trick Google into thinking they're important when they're actually not. What do you think is really important to people who are searching for stuff? Well, first and foremost, it's content. Here's what I'm trying to say. If you've got good content on your website that really helps people understand and explains to people what the topic is, if it's windows or siding or remodeling or whatever you do, then that's the first thing that Google's going to look for. But it's not just having good content. It's having an ongoing amount of content that is updated on a frequent basis, because here's why. Google's going to do this. They're going to send out what's called a spider to look at websites all over the planet, whatever kind of website it is. They're going to look at your website and all your competitors' websites and every other website on the planet, and the spiders are a computer program that goes onto the website and indexes it and says, okay, let's see what's on this website. Are you with me so far? And when that spider hits your website, it's going to look at the words, it's going to look at the headers, it's going to look at all the stuff the nerd did, and it's going to look at the content. And it's going to do a snapshot, and it's going to say, okay, here's what's on this particular website. And then it's going to come back in about a month, and it's going to look, and it's going to see, has this company added anything? Are there any new links coming into this website from other websites? Is there any new content? And if Google sees that there's new content, it's going to index that content, and it's going to try to determine what is the content of this page. And it's going to look and see if there's any links coming into your website that are new. And guess what's going to happen if Google comes a month later and sees that there's no new content on your website and there are no new relevant links coming into your website? It's going to draw a conclusion that says, oh, this particular company doesn't have anything new, so therefore it must not be that important, and it doesn't have that many visitors. And so it's going to say, okay, well, this company is not that great. It's okay. But if there's companies that do have more content that's new and do have links coming into their website that are fresh and new and relevant, then it's going to push them ahead of you. Now, here's what's going to happen. A month later, Google's going to come back and take a look again. So they looked the first time, now they look the second time, now they're going to look the third time a month later. If they see that you've added more content that's relevant, that's good, and they see that you've got more links coming in than you used to, they're going to make a note. And they're going to say, wait a second, this site seems to be adding new and relevant information. There's new and relevant links coming into this website. Instead of visiting and indexing this site once a month, let's come back in 3 weeks, because they seem to be adding stuff. So Google then comes back in 3 weeks. And if you've added more new stuff and there's more new links coming into your website, Google's going to draw a conclusion. These guys have stuff on a consistent basis. They must be important. Let's push them up the rankings a little bit, and let's push companies that don't have as much new content and relevant content and links coming in, let's push them down a little bit, because this other website, this the first one we just talked about, this one seems to be more relevant, and it's going to have more, it's going to be more likely to match what people are looking for. You see how this works? And then they come back 3 weeks later and they see that you've got more content. So next time they come back 2 weeks later, and then they come back 2 weeks after that, and then Google starts coming out every week and looking at your site. And then they start coming every maybe day. Have you ever noticed, have you ever done a Google search for something news related, and you'll see a story that shows up on Google, and it'll say, this story is from 13 minutes ago, and you think, my gosh, how did Google find that after only 13 minutes? Well, because it's coming from a news site that updates its information on its website so frequently that Google knows that they've literally got to go index that website every couple of minutes, because there's going to be new stuff that people are going to want to see. Now, this is why SEO has to be done on a consistent, ongoing basis, because if you just get your nerd coding stuff on there and then you leave it static forever after that, guess what? Google says, well, this must just be a static site that doesn't change, that has nothing particularly useful or interesting that people want to see, so it'll start to push you down, 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 when in fact you want to be going up, 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 up. You following me? So the key thing here is if we can genuinely, legitimately add good content on a consistent basis, and if we can find links to come into our website, then Google's going to give us high ratings. You don't need an algorithm or a PhD in computer science or brain surgery to understand this stuff. All you've got to understand is we've got to get content on our website that's fresh and relevant and good and interesting, and articles and blogs. That's what we're going to talk about, content. Your SEO foundation should be built on great content, okay? Don't try to fake it. People put content that people will actually want to read. This takes time and effort. This is why the websites that take time and effort to do this get the best results. People will want to link to it. People want to tweet it and Facebook it. This takes time and effort. No SEO company nerd is going to pull this off for you because they don't know how to put that together. So this is no nerd stuff. Don't let nerds do this. You want marketing people or yourself to do this. Kinds of content you can create. How about articles? Remember, people surf the web and search for relevant information. Don't make your site a pamphlet. Keep fresh information about whatever is relevant to your target prospects. Put blog posting as an informal article. Be creative, fun, interesting. Be observant. Put videos. People love videos. Create them. Then put them on YouTube, and then guess what? They link into your website. Google goes, oh, wow, they got lots of people watching these videos. They're linking into this website. It must be relevant. Let's push it on up the ladder. This is stuff that you don't want your nerds to do. This is stuff you want marketing people or yourself to do. Here's what you should do with your content. First of all, don't keyword stuff your articles or your web pages for that matter. That means don't just cram a bunch of words that you think Google's going to want to hear, but without having a coherent, cogent theme to that, or just for the sake of having Google. Google is smart. It's going to know when you're keyword stuffing. Next, don't use keyword scramblers. These are computer programs where you take an article and you scramble it up, and it takes synonyms for words, and it makes a new article that has the same meaning, but it reads not very smoothly. Google knows when you do that. Don't copy articles from somewhere else. Google hates that. If the same article is here as is over there, they know that. They don't want that. They want fresh content. Add fresh content as often as you can. 2 or 3 times a week is perfect. 2 or 3 times a month is the minimum you should do. Okay, and then you might want to give your SEO stuff to your nerd so he can post it. You don't necessarily know how to post it. Let's talk about keywords. You need to choose keywords. Give them to your nerd. Hopefully he'll know what to do with them. Okay, here's some keywords. Let me just show you one keyword thing, okay? Keywords are usually not keywords, they're usually key phrases. So for vinyl, for instance, key phrases: vinyl siding styles, vinyl shake siding, Alcoa vinyl siding prices, vinyl siding installation, types of vinyl siding contractors, vinyl siding colors. These are keywords that are more likely to get a hit. So these are keywords that you need to base your articles on, that you need to put into your website. These are things that people will search. And the more precise the words are in your website with the precision of the search that the person typed into Google, the more likely is Google is to link you to that person who searched for that. So just keep that in mind. I know this is not a comprehensive discussion of the topic, but just keep that topic in mind. So links, let's talk about links. Good links versus crummy links. What you want is links from other websites coming into your website. Google is going to look at the source of that link, and it's going to determine, is it a good link? And if it is, it's going to push you up in the SEO rankings. For instance, if you were writing a series of articles for the Dallas Morning News and you lived in the Dallas area, and Dallas Morning News places those articles on their website, which is a big website with lots of readers that's important, and Google knows that, and it sees that it's got a link to your website, Google's going to say, huh, this website over here must be pretty important if Dallas Morning News is linking to it. Is it a real link or is it just a manipulated link? There's something out there called link farms, where there's companies that have pages of links that link into websites, but Google looks at those and says, these links are garbage. They're not relevant. They're not useful. Okay, so what is the relevance and the importance of the linking sources? And then the relevance of the anchor text to the keyword on the targeted page. In other words, if you've got a website that's about baby monitors linking to your website about Windows, Google's going to know that and say, well, this link doesn't even make sense, and it's going to give you no credit for that. It may even penalize you for that. Okay, last thing we'll talk about briefly, social media. it's a good idea. Look at the last thing on this slide because it's a good way to get good links to enhance your SEO. That's the main thing. That's what I want you to know about this. I'm not going to go through a bunch of examples on social media because we simply don't have time. Okay, make sure that if you tweet something or Facebook something that you've got good content, not just sales and not just, hey, buy from us today, etc. Okay? So the last topic we're not going to cover is pay-per-click. Pay-per-click simply says, it simply purchase leads. I'm not going to go through that. If that's something you want more information about, please feel free to contact my office. Okay? So let's do this. Let me show you what you can do next. If you're interested in some things that we've talked about today, do this. Request a free identity consultation and website evaluation from Monopolize Your Marketplace. If you do this, we'll discuss your business, your situation, we'll find out what makes you tick, what your identity is, evaluate your website for conversionability. If you'd like to do this, go to this link, mymonline.com/consultation. You can see it at the top of this page. You'll see a page that looks like this. What you must do next if you want web results, and then at the bottom of that page, you will see a scheduling tool where you can actually schedule your appointment. And we did this webinar on Wednesday, and we didn't sell out, but we filled up all of our slots. We added some new ones, so if you're interested in doing that, please feel free to go to our website and schedule your consultation. There's also a phone number on there on that website. So go to mymonline.com/consultation. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this call up. If there's any questions that anybody has, I'd be happy to take them. All you have to do is type the question into the question dialog box. And if you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it about the topic from today. So I'll give you a minute to look up on the consultation page on our website if you want to. And I'll also give you a minute to ask any questions if you have any. So go ahead. Anyone? If we don't have any questions, oh, here we go. Are your services available for Canadian customers? Well, let me tell you what good has come from Canada over the years. First of all, we've got Shania Twain, Steve Nash, who's now a Laker, so that's bad. But my favorite band of all time, Rush, is from Canada. So not only do we service Canadian customers, we also give them two big thumbs up. We actually don't give you a discount, but yeah, we do business in Canada, absolutely. How important is a logo in establishing an identity? Answer, not very important. Doesn't mean don't have one. Doesn't mean if you have a great one that you shouldn't be proud of it. But as you start getting into branding, which is a whole different topic than identity, then your logo becomes potentially a little bit more important. Colors become very important. But just the logo itself, if you have a great logo, fantastic. But you know what? You don't feel like you have to go drop a couple grand on an awesome logo before you can start this process. In fact, when we go through the identity process, it's really something that we don't pay very close attention to at all. Let me give you an example of that real quick. I'm going to go back quite a ways, so give me a second. Oh, come on, it's too far back. Let me go the faster way. Let me show you this one here. Okay. So you remember Smart Electric? They got the kind. I think this is kind of a goofy-looking logo with this Einstein-looking guy here. You know what? Look what happened. When we created their identity, we stuck the same logo at the top because the I doesn't even go to that. The I goes to all this other stuff. Now we created a truck, like a truck wrapper for these guys, and it looks very much like this website, but we stuck the logo in the middle. So I'm not that concerned about the logo. I'm a lot more concerned about the identity. You know, on this particular page, service with a women's touch, etc. Okay. Somebody has typed in that Neil Peart is God. I don't know that he is God per se, but in the hierarchy of drummers, that's probably close to true. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up today? Give you just one more quick chance to do that. Anyone? Bueller? Okay. Let's see here. Where was I at? Let's go back to this page. I'll leave this page on your screen. We'll go ahead and wrap up now. If there's anything that we can do to help you, we'd love to help you put together an identity for your company. We can do it in a very cost-effective way. We've got some packages that are very affordable where we'll put together an identity for you. We can overhaul the website content for your entire website, up to 25 pages. We can put together some pre-positioning for you. We can handle some pay-per-click and SEO services for you. These are all things that we do. So if you've got some need for these kinds of things, and trust me, you do. I mean, if you don't have an identity, you got to get one, and we can help you do that. So please go to this website, Consultation on our website, fill out the form, and set a time, and we'd love to talk to you. So that's it for now. Thanks so much. We'll be in Baltimore next month at a live seminar where we'll cover some of these same types of topics and more. So we'd love to see you there if possible. Until then, this has been Rich Harshaw from Monopolize Your Marketplace. Thanks for attending. Talk to you later. Bye now.